Well, right off the bat, congratulations.
Thank you. Gosh, it's crazy. Super excited. It's funny and crazy how controversial, I guess it is right now. A lot of people are angry, but a lot of people are happy. So I don't even know what to say right now.
Why do you think a lot of people are angry, Torrie?
You know, it's just you know how the wrestling business is. I think a large part of my career, I was definitely the sexy girl that sauntered out there, but I think a lot of people also forget that I did wrestle a lot, and I did, I did my best to get better, and I ended up retiring because I had back surgery, so it's not like I just, relied on my looks entirely. And some people, I think that's all they see, but you can't please everybody, and I'm not going to let it really ruin my moment. And I'm going to try to stay positive.
And I think you should stay positive about it, because I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they asked me my opinion. They said, how do you feel about Torrie going into the Hall of Fame? I said, I think it's awesome. I go, and it was for the exact same reason you just said, Torrie, and I'm going to give you credit. Whether the WWE asked you to wrestle in a bikini in a pit of mud or to go out there and wrestle, you always gave it your best effort. So my question is to you, I'm sure that you could look in the mirror and be proud of yourself knowing that, hey, you might not have been the greatest women's wrestler of all time, but you went out there and you tried to entertain and perform to the best of your ability at all times.
100%. I mean, I think some of those people that are angry are the same people that are forgetting that this is an entertainment show. And I was not calling the shots backstage going, hey, Vince, can I please wrestle in a bikini tonight? And I actually, was out there with Fit Finley going, okay, what's the most athletic match I can put together with a bikini on?
Well, when and where did you find out that you were going to be in the class for 2019?
I was actually in Sedona, Arizona a couple weeks ago, doing like a spiritual retreat, and Mark Carano called me one night when I was in bed and asked me what I was doing WrestleMania weekend. I totally just thought he was just inviting me up, and I had already had plans to go to WrestleCon, and he's like, well, we might want to invite you to the Hall of Fame. I'm like, oh, well, this changes everything. Yes, of course, I'd love to come hang out.
Torrie, you've been
I was.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's just kind of funny. It's just human. I don't know if it's human nature. I believe that it is. Like, fear kind of runs our world. And immediately when I hung up the phone, I sat there and thought, like, I basically started putting together this list of like all the things that I'm not. And I was never a champion. I could really just start. I could do much better than my haters about beating myself up. And then I had to put myself in check and say, but there are a lot of things that I am, and I'm not going to be like, I'm not Charlotte Flair. I'm not jumping off ladders. But I am Torrie Wilson, and I did have something to bring to the table. And, I think for most people, like, we are just too quick to start listening to the negative and losing focus on what we can bring to the table.
This is terrible. I mean, here we are, having you on as a guest because we want to congratulate you. You're going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, no matter what accomplishments you made over your career, right at the top is it's going to say WWE Hall of Famer. And unfortunately, Bully, we talk about this, the negativity on social media. It sucks that like this moment for you, it's going to be marred a little bit about some negativity about whether you truly belong or not.
Well, I would say, I don't even want to say marred. I think because I just really don't want to let it go there. But I feel like it's been just a gentle reminder that I really talk about a lot on social media. And, I work with people losing weight, and it's just all about letting that negativity infect us. And people are just so quick to want to infect you with their negativity because they're not happy. And we just have to like put it in check and constantly remind ourselves. And it's not like an easy thing that you just learn one day and all of a sudden 10 years later you're never negative. Like you have to fight it off all the time.
Well, two things for me, Torrie. First, if you're helping people lose weight, can you please give Tommy Dreamer a call? That's first. And secondly, you have been involved with some of the more risque moments during the Attitude Era. Was there anything that you were ever asked to do that you were worried about, concerned about, or actually said, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this?
Oh, my God. Yes. Like, when I think back to I know there were a few things that I did say. I'm not comfortable. I don't really remember what it was, but for the most part, like I tried to be a trooper and remember that it was entertainment and like that's like my role. But I definitely did not embrace feeling sexy and confident and like the girl that everybody saw. Like I was terrified inside when I was, wearing bikinis. I mean, I remember doing a bikini contest against Sable, and I was absolutely terrified. Because I'm the worst dancer in history, and when someone tells me to be sexy, I'm the opposite. And I had to go out there and be sexier than freaking Sable, who's just a sex machine, and it was mortifying.
So was that the most difficult night for you? Was having to do the bikini contest against Sable?
Oh, that one was right up at the top, and maybe it's also because I saw a footage of that, and I wanted to squirt. I mean, it was the worst dance I've ever seen. It's so embarrassing.
At the beginning of the show, Dave LaGreca said you weren't that good of a dancer.
I never said that. It's actually one of my favorite dances of all time. Like, if I have to really tell you, and listen, like it's amazing you're saying that you were shy, because I'm sure there's a certain kiss that a lot of fans remember too with Dawn Marie. I mean, how do you perform like that on camera when you're actually a very shy person?
Oh, my God. I was definitely drinking that wine that they provided for us. Like downing the wine. But, the scary, that was definitely up there also. But I could see that as entertainment value. Like, it was really the most frightening stuff for me was when I was in front of a crowd. And I was, like, literally bare. Nothing to hide, and just not feeling super confident. But I think that's a lesson that, I think we can all take away in a point. Not that like we're all going to be standing in a bikini, in front of a crowd, but there are things that we're all super frightened about, and that we kind of have to put on a mask for.
Torrie, you're talking about having fear with some of the vanity things that you had to do in WWE. What about the physicality part? Like, as far as I remember, you went through that table like a trooper. So please be honest. How was that for you? Were you afraid? Were you into it? Did you not want to do it?
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to do it because everybody wants to get thrown through the table by the Dudley Boys, first of all. It's like a moment. I was scared shitless. I do remember that. I was pretty new into WWE and had not, been doing a lot of wrestling at that point. I was still learning how to take a bump properly. But I really wasn't scared in the fact that I was scared I was going to get hurt. I was just scared because it's scary and you're way high. And I think we're less scared when we know we're in good hands. My wrestling, it's unfortunate that when I did end up leaving, I had back surgery and I was starting to feel more and more confident in the ring. And I felt like I had my best match ever, the last match that I had against Victoria, and it wasn't even televised. So in a way, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't really get to, reach my full potential in the ring. But at the same time, it is what it is.
And Victoria is somebody you had a lot of chemistry with inside the ring, huh?
Yeah, most definitely. And, you know, her and I knew each other before I got into wrestling. She actually was living in LA, and I remember she went shopping with me once to find wrestling outfits when I was in WCW, and she's like, wait, what is this you're doing? What is it? And because she saw what I was doing, she actually decided she wanted to be a wrestler.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that. And she's just so giving. She is so supportive. She'll never be that girl that's jealous or backstabbing, and she wants everybody to look like $1 million. And she's, her ego is never, ever a factor. And that really helps people shine.
Would you say you said that was the best match you had, and when it was one of your last matches?
Yeah, like it to me, when I look back, like it felt like everything about that match it felt like it was flowing, and I was just more comfortable, and like the little things in the match just really felt like good. And I do feel like I did have some pretty decent matches the few years before that, but just like anything, when you're on the road 300 days a year and you're doing all these house shows, of course you're just going to keep getting better and better.
Now, Torrie, were you at Raw 25 or were you at the Evolution pay-per-view? Just remind us.
Both.
Okay, so you're at both of them. So you were in the locker room with the current roster of WWE women, and obviously you were in the locker room with the Attitude Era women. Can you tell us the similarities or the differences between the women's locker room from 20 years ago to now?
Well, they didn't have us in the locker room with them, but I get what you're saying. It's definitely changed. I mean, it's like, I think it's kind of evolved from a harder atmosphere for people to kind of penetrate if they're coming in fresh. And now, to me, it seems like it's kind of evolved more into like it's really a TV show, and it's not, people staring you down because your bag's in the wrong spot, or even from when I was first starting out, like there was definitely, you had a hierarchy and you felt it, and I don't really feel like you really feel that these days. It's just kind of everybody, maybe there's a hierarchy, but you don't feel it, and everybody knows that it's just a TV show and they're going home.
Torrie, you started with WCW, and I guess your role, you were a valet. When you first started with WCW, did you know you were going to eventually get into the ring?
No. I just started, they asked me to do some like vignettes, and I was just starting out in LA trying to be an actress, and the vignettes, it really just like the stuff I did with David Flair and Rick, like it just kind of snowballed so fast that it was just, it grew into something that ended up being like a long career. I had no idea what it was going to bring. I just knew that it was really exciting. It was really fun and scary as shit to walk out there in front of the arena, even if I was just walking someone to the ring. And, it wasn't until probably close to a year later that I just started to learn how to take bumps here and there. I think the goal in the beginning was just basically to have me as a valet.
Torrie, remind us of how you actually got into the wrestling business. Who found you, or who did you seek out?
Well, I had moved to LA from Idaho. I'd been there about 6 months. My boyfriend at the time was a big wrestling fan. He actually wanted to go to a WCW show in Los Angeles, and we had a friend that knew a bunch of the wrestlers, so we got free tickets, and we were way up in the nosebleeds, and I'm like, this kind of sucks. And then my friend calls us, and he's like, hey, we can go backstage if you guys want to go backstage. So we went backstage. Kevin Nash was there, Hulk Hogan was there, Eric Bischoff, and I was taking pictures of all these wrestlers, and Kevin actually approached me and asked if I would be interested in doing like a little storyline that they had planned for Ric Flair's son, David. And he's like, you look athletic. They had seen me in some fitness magazines, and, just look the part. And I was like, okay. This sounds interesting. I had the same agent as Hulk Hogan, so obviously it made it a lot easier. And I do remember that night, I had forgotten about this. Scott Steiner was doing his thing where he walks to the ring with all those like bitches, and he asked me to like walk him to the ring to be one of the girls that walked out there with him. Like, what is this that I am doing right now? We got out into the middle of the ring. I remember he grabbed my ass and was like, "Man, you're fine." I was like, "What is going on?"
You're getting your ass grabbed in your first match, drinking wine before you have to get into a bikini. Isn't this wrestling business wonderful?
And your poor boyfriend at the time saying, "What the hell did I just do?"
Yeah, she brought him right to the Shark Tank.
Really right in.
Rule number 1 of the wrestling business: never bring the wife or girlfriend around the wrestling business, because she's going to wind up getting into the wrestling business.
Exactly.